What's up, spectators? Welcome back to another episode of Aviary Attorney. Last time we finally started the trial where we cross-examined the first witness who was the inspector. And we, sort of opened up the possibility that Katarine's bloody paws were from the bloody stake and not from the victim. So the witness has been dismissed, and now we're about to bring in another witness. Yes, of course, Your Honor. I call upon, let's see, Robinho, the photographer who attended the banquet on the night of the murder. Please approach the stand and recite the oath. How does it go? I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It's a little cliché, to be perfectly honest. Could the witness please introduce himself for the court record? As if anybody in this courtroom does not immediately recognize me. I am the great Monsieur Robinho, cutting-edge photographer and visionary. I don't just take people's pictures, I capture their very essence. I am artist? Probably. You may have seen my works in hip magazines, La Branche or C'est chouette. I can send you tweets if you like. What on earth is a tweet? Bird-to-bird communication. Come on, Falcon, it's the 19th century, get with the times. Yes, your works are very impressive, Monsieur Robinho, but let's get down to business. Could you tell us your activities were on the night of the murder? Very well. I was hired by Baron Roguewell to capture the evening's events. I arrived at 7 in the evening, I pointed my camera and captured the beauty of the banquet in one fantastic photograph. Then I billed Baron Roguewell and left. Like a true artist. And with regards to the photograph itself, who did you photograph? I thought you might ask. I brought a copy so that you could all see for yourselves. Very good, let's take a closer look. My word, this is an exquisite picture, isn't it? So let's see, who do we have here? And immediately you can all see there's a discrepancy. This clock has hands, when it shouldn't. In the middle we see Baron Roguewell, the lion who hosted the event. On the left we see Pertois de Moi, the father of defendant, Cataline. And finally we see the housemaid Colleen, who I suspect may have stuck into the picture uninvited. As you can see, two people are clearly absent from the photograph. The first is the victim, Monsieur Grenway. The second is the defendant, Cataline Demois. Quite suspicious, wouldn't you agree? Just a moment, Rabington. This proves nothing. So the defendant and the victim were not photographed with the others. That doesn't mean that they were in the garden together at that point. Hold your horses, Falcon. I'm not done yet. The prosecution may continue. Behind the photograph subjects, we see a wall clock, with the time set at 7:30. Now, why is that time significant? Well, as Inspector Volerty told us earlier, that was the exact time the murder took place. Do you see, Falcon? Every suspect has an alibi at the time of the murder, save for Cataline herself. That photograph doesn't seem right. It looks different to the one we borrowed from Robinho's studio. I see it too. Our photograph shows Colleen, Cataline, and Pertois. But Robinho's photograph shows Baron Roguewell, where Cataline should be standing. If we assume that only one photograph was taken, then this demonstrates that one of the photographs must have been edited in some way. You should just slam the evidence down. Be like, bam! Inconsistency! This whole courtroom is out of order, case closed! I can't do that. Well, I suppose you could be a little more delicate with your words. No, I mean I can't do that because our evidence was illegally obtained. If I were to present it, Monsieur Robinho would ask how we acquired it, and the whole trial could derail. In a worst-case scenario, I could lose my legal license, and we would be arrested for theft. Oh, well, we don't want that. No, we don't. I should tread lightly. Your Honor, I would like to cross-examine the witness. Very well, the defense may proceed. It's a waste of time if you ask me. Photographs are rock-solid evidence. Photograph. Let's take a closer look at this photograph. I see a mistake in the photograph. Just to clarify, Robinho, the photographs are a direct reflection of reality, are they not? That is correct. The photographic process leaves no room for bias or inaccuracies. That is most curious, because I see a mistake. A mistake? Impossible! I just told you, monsieur, the camera is a perfect, unbiased device. The photographs it produces are flawless. Falcon, I'm not seeing any mistakes. Perhaps you could be more specific. Certainly. The clock in this photograph. There's something not right about it. Well, isn't that convenient? The defense sees something wrong with the key piece of evidence that implicates his client. Don't give me that cocky tone, Monsieur Remington. I have evidence that there's something wrong with the clock in that picture. The photograph clearly shows the clock's hands pointing at 7 and 6. That much is self-evident. Which is most curious because the clock in the lounge of Chateau Criniere has no hands! Has no hands! The clock is merely a decorative piece, a talking item. Feel free to ask Baron Roguewell or his housemaid if you have doubts. Monsieur Robinho, how do you explain this discrepancy? I don't know. There must be some sort of mistake. My camera is flawless. There is no mistake, monsieur. Your photograph depicts something that does not exist in the real world. Maybe then there was an error in the printing process. An error precisely where the clock's hand should be? Please, monsieur, don't patronize. Allow me to offer a more plausible explanation. You, Monsieur Robinho, edited this photograph. Edited? I'm no expert, but I suspect that you used paint or ink to carefully put hands upon the clock. It would have been a simple task, considering that the clock face was bare. One could even speculate that you specifically chose to include a handless clock in the photograph just to simplify the editing process. Falcon, your reasoning is absurd. Why would the witness do such a thing? Is it not obvious? By showing the photograph to have taken place at precisely 7:30, it clears all the photograph suspicions of suspicion. Subjects. Oops. In other words, Monsieur Robinho created a perfect alibi. Of course, this raises further questions. Who is this witness protecting? And why? Was Monsieur Robinho coerced? Bribed? Threatened? Enough silence! Let's hear some answers, Monsieur Robinho. Fine, you got me. I'm guilty. I did it all. You did it? You're confessing to the murder of Monsieur Grenouille? What? No. I have no idea who killed the frog. I'm just admitting that I'm guilty of producing fraudulent photographs. I was ordered to make changes to the printed photographs, and yes, that included adding hands to the clock. You were ordered? By whom? I dare not say. Monsieur Robinho, I strongly advise you to answer the defense's question. You have pledged to speak without fear, after all. With respect, Judge, I fear his claws. More than I fear the punishment of the justice system, I shall name no names. His claws? Did you hear that, Falcon? That is most unfortunate. Monsieur Robinho, we cannot and shall not torture names out of you. We don't live under the ancient regime, after all. But since you have admitted to falsifying evidence, then we cannot keep you on the stand as a witness. Take your leave. You shall be charged with perjury in due course. I can't protest. That's the least I deserve for my failure as an artist. Good day. Intriguing! Pretty convincing. So, the clock's hands were painted on. So what? It doesn't matter. The photograph still depicts Cataline as absent, close to the time of the murder. That's significant. Don't be dense, Monsieur Robinho. If the photograph is not completely genuine, then it cannot be considered reliable evidence. Why not? It's still a portrayal of the night's events. Because if we accept that one part of the picture was edited, then we must accept the possibility that other parts were too. It is possible that Cataline was painted out. Even worse, it is possible that another person was painted in. We know that the witness was trying to cover for someone, so all possibilities must be accounted for. So what are you saying, Falcon? That the housemaid paid off the photographer? Or was it Signor Pertois de Mois, perhaps? I don't think so. The housemaid lacks a means or motive, and it wouldn't make sense for Pertois to implicate his own daughter. Well, surely you're not suggesting that the honest and beloved Baron Roguewell deliberately tried to frame Cataline. Because that would be the most outlandish theory yet. The Baron is a pillar of our community. He would never do such a thing. Rabington, I'm not here to throw accusations. That's the job of you, the prosecutor. However, mayhaps I should offer my opinion. Baron, it's not time for your witness testimony yet. So you would think, prosecutor, and yet I see my good reputation getting tarnished by your incompetence. Incompetence? Indeed. Let us proceed with witness questioning. Is that fine with you, Judge? Yes, I suppose that's fine. Very good, and I trust that the defense has no objections. No objections here. Fantastic. Oh, but before I forget, I pledge to speak without fear and prejudice, etc., etc. Now, prosecutor, ask me about what I witnessed over the course of the evening. Okay, Baron Roguewell. On the night of the initial dinner went magnificently. When the photographer arrived, Monsieur Grenouille left to visit the garden. Cataline followed behind him moments later. Pertois, Monsieur Robinho, and myself were engaged in conversation, so we paid her no mind. After the photographer had left, my housemaid left to go find Monsieur Grenouille and Dame Cataline. That would be when I heard her cry for help. Thank you, Baron. I think we all know the story from there. I'd like to cross-examine the witness. Do you doubt my integrity, Garçon? I am just here to uncover the truth, Baron. Very well then, hit me with your best shot. Let us establish with absolute certainty that I, Baron Roguewell, am an honest man. The defense may proceed. Baron, I'd like to ask about the dinner you served that evening. Very well, ask away. Regarding the red herring. Yes, what about it? I'm not sure, but I feel it is of vital importance to the case. Falcon, I just want to clarify this. Are you saying that you wish to pursue the red herring? No, I am not an idiot. On second thought, I suspect that the red herring may be a diversion. And it's a red herring! Oh, the joke was starting to wear thin. Do you have another question about the dinner? No? Baron, I have a question about Grenouille. God rest his soul. What was your relation to Monsieur Grenouille? We were business partners. Grenouille, Signor Pertois de Mois, and myself all owned a third share in an up-and-coming railway company. Excuse the crassness of this question, but that means you and Pertois would now own half the company each, correct? Correct. I suppose that's a slight glimmer of benefit that arose from this foul situation. But, monsieur, you must understand that Grenouille and I were friends as much as we were business associates. I mourn the man's passing. Of course. Do you have another question about... Yes. Why did Grenouille leave to visit the garden? I believe he wanted some fresh air. The steak did not sit well with him, I fear. Oh, I see. But that is quite coincidental timing, isn't it? How so? Well, Grenouille felt sick and left the room just after the photographer had arrived, and just before the murder occurred. One might draw a link between the food and the sickness. Hold on, Falcon. Surely you aren't suggesting that Grenouille's food was poisoned in some way. I'm not. No, there's nothing to indicate poisoning. I just found the timing somewhat puzzling. There's nothing puzzling about it. Monsieur Grenouille always had a soft stomach. It's really no surprise that he couldn't keep down a good rare steak. Never mind. Let's see, how about the garden? We saw the murder scene in your garden for ourselves. When was the last time you visited it? As it happens, I have quite serious allergies. I haven't been in my own garden for years. Years, you say? Indeed. That's not right. I do not wish to call you a liar, but that claim does not hold up to scrutiny, because we found a cigar butt. And why is that? Because we have hard evidence that you have visited the garden recently. Balderdash, my word is gold! Show the court this so-called hard evidence that I've been in my garden. This was found in your garden. To be specific, it was found inside the fountain basin. Right beside where the murder occurred. Cigar butt. That, could belong to anybody. Prosecutor, please shut your mouth. I can speak for myself. Sorry, Baron. That is indeed the remnants of one of my cigars, but I must apologize, Falcon, for I misunderstood your initial question. You see, prior to the banquet, I hadn't visited my own garden in years. But naturally, after hearing the housemaids cry for help on the evening of the murder, I rushed outside. I was shocked and disgusted by what I saw. That must have been when I dropped my half-smoked cigar in the fountain basin. You see, Falcon, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I would find that believable if the cigar were casually discarded. But as it happened, the cigar butt was found in the fountain's upper basin, a location that could only be accessed with great inconvenience. The cigar butt was not dropped, it was deliberately hidden. There are any number of possible explanations. Are there? Because I can only think of one. That is, that you, Baron Roguewell, deliberately hid your cigar butt to disguise your own illicit activities. Did I now, and what illicit activities would those be? You want me to spell it out? Fine, let's put everything on the table. You, Baron Roguewell, murdered Monsieur Grenouille. That is what you were trying to keep hidden. Directly accusing me of murder! How shamelessly brazen! That is a ludicrous accusation, Falcon. The Baron is an upstanding citizen of the highest order. Your allegation is baseless. You have no evidence. No means, motive, or opportunity. No evidence? Think harder, Monsieur Remington. Every piece of evidence points to Baron Roguewell as the prime suspect. You want the means? The Baron certainly had the means. His lion's claws are as sharp as a surgeon's blade. Gutting a frog belly would be trivial to him. Even Monsieur Robinho confessed just moments ago that he feared his claws. Ridiculous! I would never threaten a man with violence. You want a motive? The Baron had at least 10,000 francs worth of motive. By removing a business partner, the Baron's share of his railway company increased from 1/3 to 1/2. This is preposterous. And finally, the Baron had an opportunity. No, he crafted the perfect opportunity. He arranged a small banquet with a very select number of guests. He was aware of the missing silverware, and yet he served steak, a food item that necessitates a good cutlery. Why? To bloody the hands of his guests, of course. Then he hired an easily influenced photographer and staged a very specific picture in order to build a perfect alibi for himself. Photographing the guests in front of a handless clock to make for easy editing is quite an ingenious plan, it must be said. Prosecutor, are you just going to let this slanderous yarn go uncontested? Say something! Object? Oh, you're pitifully useless. After executing the murder, the Baron found himself still holding a single piece of incriminatory evidence, his finished cigar. He knew that leaving it at the crime scene would raise suspicion, but he didn't have time to properly dispose of it. So out of desperation, he threw it into his fountain, out of the sight of his guests and any snooping police. I imagine the Baron was hoping to implicate Signor Pertois de Bois, since that would ensure total control over his railway company. Alas, Cataline was the first to happen upon the crime scene, so the Baron improvised. This is an outrage! Judge, I demand that you disbar this ranting lunatic! No, there's only one outrage here. That is, that a man like yourself is able to abuse his wealth and status to frame an innocent girl for murder. You're a bourgeois of the worst kind. How dare you, garçon! The utter nerve of a lying scumbag of a lawyer to accuse a philanthropist like myself of something so heinous. I'm nothing like the fat cat bourgeois. See, bourgeoisie, bourgeois. I am a respectable, hard-working capitalist. No, you're a ruthless man who would slaughter a dear friend just to reap a few francs. You incredulous whelp. I ought to gut you right here and now like a damn frog. Could someone please restrain the Baron? I'm on it, Your Honor. Let's go, old man, to the conciergerie with you. Don't touch me, you filthy jackdaw. I can walk myself. This is quite a turn of events. Does the prosecution have anything to add? Well, in a manner of speaking, well, to be honest, no. Then I shall now confer with the members of the jury to come to a decision. I ask that the animals of the court please be patient in this time. That was pretty incredible. Thank you. I just hope it was enough. What do you mean? You just proved Cataline's innocence. We'll get a not guilty verdict for sure. Sparrowson, I think you've misunderstood something important about the justice system. What's that? I haven't proved anything. As lawyers, we cannot deal in proofs. It's just not possible. All we can do is organize the evidence and convincingly explain what it suggests. I haven't proved Cataline's innocence. All I have done is demonstrate that there is significant possibility that she is not guilty. I'm not sure that I understand the difference. We have reached a decision. In light of the recent revelations, it is clear that an error of judgment was made with the initial arrest. On that note, we unanimously find the defendant, Cataline Demois, to be not guilty. That looks familiar. Monsieur Falcon, Petite Sparrowson, you did it. I suppose we did, didn't we? We should head back to the office so we can celebrate properly. You did it, Falcon. I can't take all the credit. This was a group achievement. I'm so proud of you both. I'll go get 1 bottle of wine and 3 of our least dirty glasses. You were amazing, Monsieur Falcon. Oh, it was nothing. I very much like the way you pinned the murder on the Baron. That was an act of sheer genius. Well, I didn't pin anything. Sparrowson and I just worked out at unveiling the truth given the facts of the case. Falcon, there's no need to play coy. The case is over. Play coy? Don't tell me you're actually being sincere. I'm completely lost. Oh, wow, I thought the goody-goody thing was an act, but you actually don't know. All right, I'll spell it out for you. Oh my god. I murdered Monsieur Grenby. I saw him in the garden, all drunk and vulnerable, and I seized my opportunity. It was nothing personal, just business, you understand? Business? To increase my papa's share in the train company, of course. My papa always said that the drunk old frog was the weakest link. Your confession doesn't make any sense at all. I found Baron Roguewell's cigar butt hidden in the garden. Oh, I put that there. I expected the police to find it, but I suppose that was putting too much faith in the brains of Paris's finest. But Falcon proved that Monsieur Robinho's photograph was edited. It was edited. I wasn't in the picture because I was busy paying a visit to Monsieur Grenby in the garden. My papa knew I needed an alibi, so he ordered Monsieur Robinho to paint me over Baron Roguewell and to add hands to the clock. But that lazy artist didn't manage to finish altering either photograph by trial day. It's a good thing that Monsieur Falcon was so imaginative, because that could have gone very badly. What's with the silence? You should both be proud. There aren't many lawyers in the whole of France who could have won a case like this, even for a bourgeois kitty like me. I think you should leave. Fine, so much for the celebrations. Here's the payment for your services, straight from my papa's pockets. Adieu, Monsieur Falcon. What do we do now? Falcon? That is a twist. That is very anti-Aviary. Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney would never have the main characters, like, defend a guilty person. This is a nice twist. I love it. It was a fantastic twist, and it's the end of the Act 1, and it's been over 20 minutes, so this is a perfect time to end this video here. So, stay tuned for the next one. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye!